Have you ever wanted to make the absolute most of video marketing, and especially video marketing by tapping ads, and you're realizing that feeding the Facebook, Instagram, Meta universe is really just eating up all of your money faster than you expected, and you're wondering if there's other solutions out there? Well, we all know how powerful video marketing is, and we all know that if YouTube is the ultimate video platform, should we be advertising on YouTube? It's worth asking the question. And if you have been debating if advertising on YouTube is the right step for you, then you are in the perfect place. That's what we're going to cover in today's episode. So let's dive in and see how you can make video marketing and specifically YouTube ads work for you. I'm so excited because today I'm here with Robb Fahrion. He's the co-founder and partner of the Flying V Group, an award-winning digital marketing and advertising company located in Orange County, California, and Phoenix, Arizona. Robb has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Yahoo News, Business News, and many other publications. And he's recognized as one of the top social media experts and top business coaches of 2021. So you guys, we are so blessed to have him here with us today. He helps businesses grow their revenue through tactical digital marketing strategy and execution. And today he's here to talk to us about YouTube specifically and how to use video strategies on YouTube, including ad strategies to really take your business to the next level. So welcome, Robb. I'm so excited that you're here with us today.
Adrienne, thanks so much for the great intro and thanks for having me. And yeah, I'm really just excited to be a part of this. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am a huge fan of YouTube. There's so much power in video, and of all the platforms to have video on, YouTube is really where it's at. So this is going to be a huge blessing to our audience today. Now, there's probably a mix of people tuning into this. Those who have never really leveraged YouTube, but they really want to, like they're realizing being a searchable platform and a video-based platform, it's like the perfect 1-2 punch for their business. But there may also be another audience that's a little further along. They already know how smart YouTube is, and they're maybe just wanting to dig deeper and get more out of the platform. So I'll kind of take us through, we'll slowly dig deeper and deeper and get into the real good stuff. Okay.
That sounds great.
Before we jump into all the YouTube goodness, for those in the audience who maybe have not met you yet, could you tell us just a little bit about you and your entrepreneurial journey and how YouTube started to play such a starring role for you?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, my name is Robb Fahrion. I'm a partner and co-founder of Flying V Group. So we're a digital marketing agency, full scale, in that we're helping startup clients without a web presence, build a web presence, or existing businesses redesign their web presence, and then moving them directly into marketing and advertising services on a monthly basis. So we always say we're doers in that we get the services done, whether it's search or paid advertisement, but we're also heavy on the consulting side too. So really having that partnership and relationship with our clients, not only to execute on the strategy, but then also to advise on new technology in the space, new opportunities, adjustments that their competitors are making, and bringing information to our clients to help them then make better decisions for their business moving forward. So as we like to say, we kind of like to be in the trenches and solving problems, and bringing obviously that marketing, especially from the digital side, that lens to the conversation. Entrepreneurially, I've always wanted to start a business, was the guy in high school, always had some side hustles going on, reselling baseball cards, which I find myself doing now actually as well. But always knew I wanted to start a business. Never really knew though what it was or how to really do it. And it kind of just was a right place, right moment, in that I had someone reach out to me. I was in the marketing and advertising space asking for some consulting work. And he was a lawyer, and did work with him, really successful, asked me to bill him. I said, sure, I'll send you an invoice. Didn't really know what to charge, how to charge, whatever it may be. But what did go off in my head from a light bulb standpoint, and that aha moment, was that professional services field. So still to this day, we do a ton of work in the law space, accounting, financial services, So a lot of these organizations that don't necessarily have a marketing team, or maybe they have one individual to where, hey, you do marketing in your free time, right? Is what we hear a lot. So we're kind of sitting as that pseudo marketing department for organizations like that. So we still work with all sorts of clients, but still to this day, when I didn't expect to start a business, but when that opportunity presented itself, and his name's Mark, and I thought, how many more individuals or firms out there like Mark's exist? And I'd say we were right on that, and that we're still doing quite a bit of work in those particular spaces. So that's kind of how Flying V Group started. And I always joke there was no business plan. There honestly was not like a methodical, thought out process of how we were going to do this and execute, but was able to found it with my brother. So he's actually the co-founder. So kind of just put our heads together and, took as the waves came, kind of took us from one place to the next. But yeah, I mean, we've served over 300 clients now. We have 12 employees, so still boutique size, I would say, but we're having a lot of fun and yeah, just love every aspect of starting your own business, being ingrained in it, and just the overall rewarding factor of being an entrepreneur. So that's the quick little cliff notes there.
What I love about your story is that like you were kind of an accidental entrepreneur. Like you didn't mean to do this. It just kind of happened. And I
100%.
Tons of people can relate to that. I know there's a lot of people in this audience who they just kind of fell into entrepreneurship and at some point stood up and went, oh God, how did I get here? Like, what am I doing? Right.
Right. And I think like that's even played into the success of Flying V Group as well, is always being open to opportunity. Right. So, I always tell people any opportunity that presents itself, don't say no right away. Right. I mean, give it some time, maybe sit on it, hear people out. If it's partnerships or new opportunities that may seem off the wall. Right. And I think that's the only way that you can start to uncover new opportunities or better opportunities than you currently have. And so I think how things started have kind of still been a fabric of how we operate, in that, we don't leave any stone unturned. And the same goes with our clients, right? Like, hey, we're willing to, let's figure it out, right? Let's see what we can uncover. Before we say no, let's vet something out. And then, yeah, sometimes there'll be no's, right? But there's also a lot of times where you either learn something new, you learn that there's a better way to do something, whatever it may be. So we still kind of carry that same never say never attitude, or at least, hey, let's see what this opportunity might be and how it can help either our businesses or our client's business, whatever that may be. So,
oh, that's fantastic. One of my favorite sayings is, with everything you do in business, you either get the result you want or you get the learning you need to get the result you want next time. Right. So it's like, explore everything, right?
Exactly.
But with intention and focus. And so what I also love about your story is that you're in the trenches, you walk the talk. And so you're living what you're doing. And so it, you're not like way up here looking down and trying to manage people's portfolios when you don't even do the work. You do the work. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I think the other beauty too, just with like, obviously we're running a business and trying to grow our business as well. Well, the beauty of it is we're using a lot of the same strategies for ourselves that we're using for our clients. Right. So that's where I kind of like marketing and advertising as well. Well, does it work? I say, well, it worked for us. Here's why. Obviously, there's always going to be different nuance and different things like that, right? But that's where experience and understanding the landscape of certain verticals and having that expertise comes into play. But that's always a great part, is like, hey, I promise you this works because I know it's helped my business grow. Obviously, sometimes you got to trust the process and things don't happen overnight like anything. But that's always fun, is that there's direct correlation between what we've done to grow our business and how we're also helping to support our clients' businesses too.
And even if you're accustomed to working with, like larger companies or even small to mid-sized companies versus the solopreneur, like, you're working with people who are like the guy in the corner. It's like, yeah, in your spare time, can you be the marketing guy? Like, just bootstrap this, make it happen. That's kind of what all solo entrepreneurs do too, right? Like, we all have to put on our marketing hat and our advertising hat, even though a lot of us, we're not marketers, we're not advertisers. We just have to figure it out. So if it can work for them, it can work for us. So
that's exactly right.
Let's unpack YouTube a little bit for those who are maybe new to YouTube and they're exploring, like, do I want to make it a part of my strategy? What makes YouTube unique, and why is it worth investing time into amidst all the other platforms that are available to us?
Yeah, I think the most obvious answer is just video in general, right? So video is by far one of the most engaging platforms. We're very analytical in nature, but the numbers are there, right? People sitting dwell time on a website to sit and watch a YouTube video versus spending the same amount of time reading content. They're just not equal. The video always outperforms in that regard. So I think that's the one piece. People, they like watching videos better than reading, or at least not everybody, but I'd say holistically and just as a generality, that's the case. And also because I think sometimes they can get more information quicker and you have the visual components. So there's that piece. But the other piece is that the way YouTube is also entwined with Google's ad platform and then also search as well. So Google search, indexing videos on YouTube that then populate in search engine results. It's a lot easier for us to drive exposure through channels like that. A lot of it because Google at the same time, they're trying to grow business. And if they can get people on YouTube spending time on YouTube, they're seeing more ads and Google's making more money, right? And then on the flip side of that, with the Google ad network, we're able to tap into all of those same bells and whistles, demographics, keyword targeting, topics, audiences, interest, and display not just video content on YouTube in the form of ads, but also banner display type ads as well. So I think that's where YouTube is extremely valuable. Is you obviously have the video nature to where from a medium standpoint, it's always one of the top performing mediums from a marketing perspective. And then you've got the Google ecosystem behind you as well. So search and then the paid ad component.
So just to clarify, YouTube falls under the umbrella of Google. And so anything that you would search and find through a Google search, like YouTube is going to be included in that search.
That's correct. Yeah. And so a lot of clients that we work with too, they'll have a YouTube channel and there's still a lot of optimization that we can do within those YouTube listings, whether that's rewording the title, adding more in-depth descriptions, utilizing tags and categorization, feeding YouTube more information about what our video is about. The semantics piece of it and the audio understanding, it's getting there, right? There's work to improve Google's actual understanding of audio, right? But injecting subtitles, that's all content in the form of almost a blog post in a way, right? Yeah. So that readable text is all stuff that can be indexed by a search engine. And as you see, a lot of times when you do search, you're getting videos at the top of the result, or if you click that video tab, it's obviously all videos, and people are utilizing those types of that type of medium a lot more.
Well, and one of my favorite things about YouTube is like, let's say, so for those of you in the audience watching, something that you wish you knew how to do, how to make more money on social media, let's say, right? If you search, how many of you would go and search that on Facebook or Instagram? How many of you would go to YouTube and search that because you're going to find a video that's going to show you how? Right? Like far more people are going to YouTube to search the action-oriented things, like something they're ready to take action on. You go to YouTube.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, the barrier of entry to get video done nowadays is also a lot lower. I think with a lot of the stay-at-home stuff that obviously over the past years, you can't ignore, the expectation of video quality, I think, has actually decreased as well, which has helped people to, hey, I can go record a video through a webcam. I don't need to spend thousands of dollars on video equipment or hiring a video production company. And I can very easily, go on canva.com, we use a lot, create a nice thumbnail, load that thing up there. And, now you've got great content. I always laugh early on in Flying V Group, you're trying everything, right? And I got on, recorded. It is the most amateur video ever, but I have my little face here in the corner of the screen and I'm just walking through a WordPress website, how to install Google Analytics, how to install Search Console, other tracking. And the thing's got, I think it's like 15, 20,000 something views now, right? Because it clearly resonated. It answered questions that people were having, and it showed them how to do it in a way that was much more easy to consume and then use from a practice standpoint, because it was a step-by-step almost, right? So I think that's where too, the barrier to get video content up is also a lot lower, which creates more opportunity as well.
It's a lot lower. And that video you just told us about, how long ago did you record that?
Gosh, it was probably it was probably within the first year or so, right? When you're just, hey, I need to create some content, show people that I know even some semblance of digital marketing and advertising work, right?
So it was many years ago.
Yeah, it adds up too, right? So you forget about that, but what it's also doing, it's creating that brand authority to where, okay, it's my name associated with Flying V Group. It's a video that has a lot of views, a lot of comments, responding to comments, interaction there leads to a blog post on the website. And yeah, it just helps that credibility.
And what's even better, you made this video years and years and years ago, and it's still out there getting views, getting hits, driving people to your website, versus if you share a video on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, like anywhere else, its shelf life is days. Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. Certainly, and especially too, you have people that are always, they're competing with the algorithms, right? Or they're trying to figure out how it works. I mean, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Like, why did this get one engagement versus the other? Versus that's where we've always loved. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's tons of value in those types of content and social media and building up that presence. But when you can post something that lives there forever, over time, it's actually going to get more valuable, assuming that the content stays relevant and up to date. But that's where creating new content helps. So yeah, it becomes a very, very powerful tool from a search perspective.
Yeah, it stands the test of time. It lived there forever. So you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck putting content there, because it never expires. It never dies. It's always searchable and findable.
Exactly. Yep, yeah, you got it.
Perfect. Okay. So for those people who are now realizing like, I mean, especially, and I just want to plug this. If you've created live video on any other platform, and like how many you might have, 10, 20, 30, 40 videos over the course of how many years, you realize you can download those and put them on YouTube, right? You maybe have a whole channel's worth of content. You don't even know it. It's just sitting there and not being used.
Yeah, it's that cross-pollination of content, right? Or reusable content from one platform to the other. The one thing I found too is like writing for me was always a struggle early on. Well, what made writing really easy was recording a video and then just almost transcribing it, right? Because as I was walking that person through, hey, here's how to do X, Y, and Z, I not only had the video, but now I also had written content that for me sometimes is tough just sitting down and starting to write that out. And it just made it so much easier to where I have the ability to transcribe it. There's automatic transcription now, and then obviously go back in and proofread and edit. And I mean, you're just creating multiple pieces of information that can be used in so many different ways a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people who are like really getting motivated now, they want to grow a YouTube channel, or maybe they've started and they're trying to get traction, trying to get subscribers. What are some quick tips you have on how to grow your subscriber base, grow your channel as quickly and efficiently as possible? Any tips?
Yeah, good question. I think it's consistency for sure. And I've mentioned it's been on my list of being more consistent, and it's hard, right? You're doing so much, but I think even what we talk about with clients, because sometimes there'll be things that, hey, the client's going to handle this portion. We'll handle more of the heavy lifting from like the ad optimization or whatever else. But it's just setting reasonable expectations, right? To where, okay, I'm going to get one a week, right? Or even if it is one a month, but at least having something to where you have a reasonable expectation of yourself from a time standpoint to get that done. So I'd say that consistency. And then I'd also say, tight, we call them like in paid ads, like tight themes. So having, maybe videos that one plays off the other, that plays off the other, to where you start creating more libraries of content that start to add a lot of depth to the value of the information that you create. And then I think also, setting aside some ad budget too, right? I mean, I think like any effort, especially early on, sometimes having that little push of some paid promotion to at least drive some engagement, get some visibility, that helps. Now, that's not to say that that won't happen over time. Organically, it will, but obviously it's kind of that push pull to where okay, we know that's going to take a little bit of time. So in the short term, putting that out in front of X, Y, and Z type of demographic that we know may be interested, I think can help you to start to build up that momentum and start to see those views. And, that's rewarding, right? You get somebody to, even today, I'll get random comments and I'm like, oh, that's super cool. I forgot I even put that out there. Right.
Yeah, so, that happens to me all the time.
I'd say, yeah. So consistency, having a plan, right? Not just random, creating random videos, but having stuff that can be a progression of the content that you're going to create. And then I think, moving some ad spend behind that as well, assuming that you can budget some of that towards a little bit of that extra push at the beginning.
So I'm super excited to dig into the ads piece, but before I allow myself to go there, I want to ask just a few more questions about this consistency side. So one little life hack I shared with the audience is if you've already done a lot of live videos on some other platform, you can repurpose them on to YouTube. You might find that you have a whole channel's worth of content that it would be really easy to be consistent because you already have all the videos, right?
Right.
But if someone doesn't have that yet, and they're realizing this whole repurposing thing, I should be smart about this. Mm-hmm. Is it better to create the content specifically for YouTube and repurpose it in other places? Or is it better to create the content on other social media platforms and repurpose it for YouTube, or does it matter?
I think honestly, if you do start with YouTube, it's a lot easier to repurpose because a lot of times your YouTube content length you're not going to be restricted by length, right? Like some of those videos, for example, are 10, 15 minutes because they're just longer processes. But if I wanted to cut that up into bite-sized pieces, I very easily could. But on the flip side of that, I think you can also use strategies that you might use for an Instagram live on YouTube as well. One of the things that I encourage people is FAQs. What are your clients asking you, or whoever it is that you're trying to get in front of? What are the questions that they ask you on a regular basis? Write those down. If it's 10, 15, 20, get online, answer the question, right? I mean, it's a lot of times that simple to where you get on, you're answering that question. It's probably a minute and a half. That can obviously be used, whether it's YouTube, Instagram. There's a lot of other places where you can use that. And going back to that searchable content, now you're providing a piece of video content from someone that knows what they're talking about from an expertise standpoint. If you have your brand tied behind it, that's where you start to build that authority over time. That's going to help you on social media. It's going to help your website from a search engine visibility standpoint. You can use that content to post on your website. There's your new blog, right?
Yeah.
I'd say it doesn't necessarily matter one way or the other, but I think if you're creating pieces for YouTube, there's always ways to repurpose them, and you're not going to run into any restrictions on YouTube, at least. So that would kind of be my 2 cents there.
Yeah. Slice them, dice them, repurpose them, turn them into stories, turn them into live videos, turn them into TikToks, whatever you want.
Exactly. Step by steps, 100%. Yep.
Yeah. And there's tons of people I actually follow, on TikTok, for example, where I can tell they're getting their video. It's from YouTube. Right. And I'm oh, they have a channel somewhere. I need to go find them. but I still consume it on TikTok and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, great. So hopefully that got all your creative ideas going. So now, assuming that we're producing content, we're repurposing, reusing, we're being consistent because we're smart marketers here. And, we have a purpose behind what we're posting. It's not just willy-nilly. Let's talk about the role that ads play, because I think a lot of people, they get to that point where they're mastering their marketing and their content, but ads kind of feel like pulling the slot machine handle and just hoping and praying that you don't flush your money down the toilet. So I know every ads platform is so different. Right. And, YouTube, of course, is different than Facebook, is different than the rest. What's the best ad strategy for beginners to increase their traffic and to increase sales specifically? And maybe that's 2 questions, but
no, I think they do tie it together. And I think it kind of goes back to what I was talking about when you're thinking about creating the content. Create the content with a specific focus in mind. I think in the same way you're focusing there, you're also looking to create ads very specifically for a particular group or individual or in our sense, if it's a type of clientele that we're trying to get information in front of. So it kind of goes back to, marketing 101 and advertising 101, that personalization of content and not getting too wide. I think that's where, when we take over ad accounts, we see that there are a lot of issues. Is they have so much content, so much information in there that it becomes hard to organize and manage. It's hard to really pull out insights about what's working and what's not. So I think right out of the gate, it's just kind of that, not biting off more than you can chew. So it's maybe setting up two specific types of videos, targeting two very specific types of audiences, running those, and then monitoring, right? I think that's also the beauty of these ad platforms is it's creating that instant feedback loop to where we'll know pretty early on, okay, how far is our video reaching from a cost for CPM, cost per view standpoint? How many clicks are we generating off of a particular video? And you'll start to identify what type of content is resonating with different audiences. Mm-hmm. And then I think within those audiences too, it's also not just putting all your eggs into one basket in terms of the type of the content that you're running, in terms of what it is you're talking about. So what I mean is, you might be targeting a specific individual, but give them a couple different topics that you think would pique their interest, because the likelihood that you hit on all three and they find each of those extremely interested, or at least from a metric standpoint, there's going to be one or two winners out of that. And so that's where you hear about optimization of ad campaigns. I mean, it really is. It's a trial and error game, right? We go in leveraging existing experience. We go in with a strategy based on what our clients are talking about, who they're trying to get in front of. But until we actually put that information out in front of a live human being that's absorbing it, taking it in from a personality standpoint, how they may receive it, we don't know until we get validation from that data. Sure. So I think just being start small, right? Start small, specific, and focused. Don't try and cover every single angle. I think that will really help you to control the testing and the experimenting that you're doing. And then a lot of times keep the variables at a minimum as well, to where, okay, I might run the same type of content, but I might run one to this demo and one to this demo. Maybe it's male versus female. It might be age groups that you change, right? So there is still a lot of that testing, but I think that's where you can kind of spin out of control if you're trying to do too many things at once and trying to satisfy too many people at once as well, sure. Where you can run into trouble and then you feel like, hey, I'm just spinning out of control and wasting money here.
So many questions. Okay. Now what I've observed, at least in my business, is most people, when they start venturing into ads, they almost always start with Facebook first because it's familiar, and it's ads are almost always outside the comfort zone in the beginning, but once you dip your toe in there, Facebook seems to be more comfortable to most people, and then they branch out. So sure. I know in Facebook ads, you have certain goals for your ads. It could be to reach more people. It could be to get clicks. It could be to get conversions. It could be to get views on a video. What types of strategies or goals are there for YouTube ads? Are they the same or are they different?
Yeah, so you do have similar types of goals that we're setting, right? So for instance, one might be reach. Hey, we want to reach as many people as possible with this video. Or it might be clicks. We want to drive more clicks to that landing page. And it could be conversions, right? To where, okay, the views and the clicks don't necessarily matter. What matters when that click gets to the website, are they taking that conversion action? So yes, they are similar in that sense. I think the biggest difference for me is the intent of the audience that I think you can drill into on a Google ad versus a Facebook ad. Facebook ads, I call it kind of more of like a passive advertisement, in that the person that we're putting advertisements in front of, we don't necessarily know whether or not they want that ad right out of the gate, or we have to at least set up some sort of funneled structure to get them to that place. That is where video is good, because the reach of video on Facebook is really strong and it goes a long way. But we want to use that to then say, okay, who watched this video, right? Who clicked on the ad? Then from there, we might retarget them with a offer or whatever that may be. On the flip side, I think YouTube presents more at what I call like active advertising. So these are people to where I can say, hey, these people have searched for X, Y, and Z on the Google search platform. I want to target them. So I already know that there's some sort of intent with these audiences that I'm putting my advertisements in front of. And so they both have pros, cons. Google and YouTube ads are always going to be a little bit more expensive, I think, for that reason. But I would say when you boil down, okay, how am I going to drive views, clicks, conversion goals, similar to like I would on Facebook, I think the utilization of higher intent audiences based on what they're searching for is a piece that I really love about YouTube that creates what I would say is more control, or at least better feeling that I'm putting my content and information in front of people that actually are looking for it, finding it interesting, or wanting to learn more about it.
So whereas Facebook, they may have flagged me as someone who's interested in affiliate marketing.
Right.
So as I'm passively scrolling, I might encounter someone's ad that talks about an affiliate marketing system or something.
Yeah, because and I mean, Facebook all the time, right? I get ads for digital marketing companies, but it's just because I'm associated with marketing, but I don't need that service, right? That's where, if they had a funnel that said, okay, he swipes through this every single time, get him out of the audience. That's where you can start to narrow down your audience from a Facebook perspective. So I think YouTube ads just presents an opportunity to get to a point where you are generating more views, more clicks, more conversions quicker, because you're able to get inside almost from a psychological standpoint what that person's looking for based off of search data, websites that they've visited, channels that they've viewed in the past, all of those different things that can help us to just be a little bit more fine-tuned with our targeting.
So for example, on YouTube, I could target an ad towards someone who specifically searched for the term how to make money in affiliate marketing.
100%.
Okay. Yep. So it's far more specific, and it's not that they're passively scrolling. At some point, they've actively searched that phrase. Exactly. Yeah. So you can create, it's called search intent audiences. And it wouldn't just be on, the beauty too, is it's not just on YouTube, right? It could be that they searched that on Google. They've been added now into that audience, and now they are ending up on YouTube, and they're seeing information about your business or your course that you may be offering in order to present an opportunity to them. And then from there, you're obviously, tracking clicks, views, brand exposure, whatever those goals that you mentioned that are similar on the Facebook platform. Yeah. Interesting. So I'm trying to wrap my head around, like, clearly you can target people pretty accurately, but there's no feed that people scroll through. So how is it that you choose where your ad actually lands? Like where it shows up? Yeah. So it's going to be when they're viewing other videos, right? So for example, I'm a sports fan. So I could be on YouTube and I could be watching highlights of whatever it may be. Well, if I'm entered into an audience from a previous search that I may have done within an attribution period of, let's say, 30 days, that advertiser has that opportunity to advertise on top of that video content that I may be looking to watch. So, and then there's a couple ways. It might be before you watch the video, because obviously YouTube's serving free content to where, okay, I have to sit through an ad for Nike shoes, right? Whatever it may be, before I get to my video content. Or during the video, you see at the bottom, you have banner ads that will display, or depending on the length of the video, they'll actually pause the video in the middle, serve an ad until you can watch the rest of the remaining video. So that's how the YouTube ad platform will inject the ads on top of the content. So do you, as the person placing the ad, do you have to choose exactly where your ads show up, or does YouTube just put them in the right places at the right times? Yeah. So it's all based on who's my demographic, right? So if I want to target individuals aged 50 plus, right? Let's say, regardless of what video they may be watching at that given time, I can place advertisements for them. Or I can say, hey, I want to target 50 plus that are watching these particular types of YouTube channels or categories, right? Okay. To where, okay, I want them when they're
not focused on something else, but they're focused on specifically what I may be offering. And so I want to intersect them at that right place, right time. Because that's what I always tell people, like Facebook, yes, it's great, but you need more visibility, more touch points, this and that, because with that passive type, you're trying to intersect them at that right place, right time. You don't necessarily know if it is right place, right time. That's where the frequency and making sure you have consistent content and information is extremely important. But on the YouTube ad side, we can be much more specific to where, okay, I can intersect this individual when I know they fit my demographic, they're searching for the type of content that I'm offering, or they're interacting with other similar type of content that I want to present to them as maybe an alternate option, or just to make myself visible and make them aware of, hey, I'm here. I have an offer that I think you might be interested in. And then obviously gauging how effective that is from a performance standpoint.
Sure. So as an example, let's say you're a course creator and you've created a course for network marketers. You could tell YouTube that you want to run an ad to network marketers who are specifically watching Eric Worre or Sarah Robbins' channel, and an ad will pop up for your network marketing themed training.
That's exactly correct. Yep. Yeah. So depending on the specific parameters, you can be that specific. You could also say that, hey, I just know this individual was interested in network marketing and I don't care what video they're watching. I want to target them, right? And that's where you get into the data side to where, okay, I know that, middle of the night is when these people are looking for new information, or, they're not at work, right? So they're spending more time on YouTube researching. And so regardless of where they may be on YouTube, I want to interact with them in the form of an ad. But yeah, it gets pretty granular. So, I mean, I think even through this conversation, you can see how if you don't really have kind of a tight knit specific plan going in, you can start to get a little sideways. And then it's like, okay, what do I make of X, Y, and Z data? So that's where going back to kind of our initial point is, keep it simple. I mean, seriously, yeah, early on, I think keeping it simple, there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to have more control. You're going to start to also familiarize yourself with the platform to where you're not trying to do too much too early. And the beauty is you don't have to spend a lot of money with YouTube video, because one, you get a lot of exposure. I mean, we're talking pennies on the dollar versus like search-based clicks in the form of views. And so you can start to learn pretty quickly, okay, with $10, $15 here or $50 here, what's more effective from a cost per view standpoint, cost per click, all those different metrics that you're going to get on that platform.
Wow. Fascinating. So definitely there's a lot you can do with ads on this platform, with video in general, with building a channel, but also with ads. And it sounds like if you're hitting both sides of that equation, you can really get some fast growth.
Yeah, I think exactly. I mean, I think it really does start with the video creation. You can still run static ads on YouTube, but you can also run video ads as well, to where that might be a quick 15-second. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I do X, Y, and Z. Would love for you to click below and learn more about how I can do whatever your value add is. I mean, that can literally be run as an ad, and you can even direct them to your YouTube channel as well, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be to a landing page or some sort of funnel. And then you get them to your YouTube page. You have tons of great content, information. You have categorization. That's running from a search perspective as well. Start to build up subscriber lists to where they get automatically notified about new video content that you're posting. And the engagement is always very high as well. From a comment standpoint, the ability to interact with individuals there, YouTube does a great job of making it very easy for people to be social on YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, fantastic. So for people in the audience who are now getting super motivated and excited about not only leveraging the platform to create content, but maybe even to dabble in a little bit of ads, I understand you have a free gift to help the audience get started and really nail it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
We do. Yeah. As part of really any engagement that we have, a lot of the initial work is done in discovery. And so we're offering both a YouTube ads as well as search engine optimization, audit, analysis, and roadmap. YouTube and SEO a lot of times go hand in hand. And so we'll basically be taking a look at opportunities that exist from a video perspective, opportunities that exist within the YouTube ad environment, what maybe competitors may be doing or others in the space, and giving you actionable insights on, hey, here's my next steps. And then here's how that can also help my website presence from a search engine optimization standpoint, and making sure that we're squeezing out every ounce of value in the time that we spend doing things. Because I know for all of us, time is the most precious component that we don't have a lot of. And so just making sure that you're maximizing the value of the time you're spending on video content and the opportunity that ads may present for you and your business.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. So for those of you in the audience, if you've ever hesitated in venturing into the world of ads because you don't want to just pull the handle on the slot machine and pray that you don't lose your money, don't press
the boost button.
That's exactly what Robb can help with, is like, don't hope and pray. Like, let's go in with a smart strategy. Let's audit what you have going on and let's help you get a smart start. So what a wonderful gift. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm certain there's going to be some people in the audience who this becomes the start of a whole new journey for them.
Definitely.
And, really making the most of the power of video marketing.
Great. Yeah, no, my pleasure. And Adrienne, thanks again. It's been a lot of fun for having me on. And anybody that has questions, concerns, I'm readily available on social media or our website, flyingvgroup.com. Please, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out, and would love to be able to help and support in any way possible within the network.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.